So some of you guys know me that I was in class with, and I see a lot of people that are new, but I did just get married, so my name's no longer LaShe Jackson, it's LaShe Tatum. So here goes the little pitch. I started in June Day's class, so last June, and I had graduated high school in 2007, so I went to college for communications, and I've been in school for 7 years, and so I'm like, oh my God, I'm not getting a degree yet, I'm having babies, and it just wasn't falling into place. So I saw this OCB commercial on TV, and I'm like, well, let me call them. Got in June, and I'm like, okay, this is exactly what I want to do. So not shortly after, like, you know how they post the things for internships, I'm like, okay, I need whatever we got. And luckily, like, they had internships available in Marion, the city that I live in. So like Kirk said, I went to Magic 95.9 and started out as a board operator for just as an intern. So wasn't paid anything. I was doing it every Friday, football Friday nights, from like 6 to midnight every Friday. So my family's like, I'm tired of babysitting your kids. Like, you're not getting paid. Why you keep doing this? And then it went on to basketball season where there's more games, and everybody's like, why you keep doing this for free? But like, if you guys know, it's like, okay, you have a goal that you're trying to reach. And then also there's a local TV station there. It's very small, called TV 22, and they needed a lot of help there. And they, I went there and was like, hey, I want to be a news anchor. What can I help? Like, what can I do to help? So they're like, well, let's start you off getting you on the camera. You look nice. Let's start you off doing they wanted me to do an arrest report. So I was nervous about that because I'm like, oh, I don't want people to look at me like, oh, that's the girl that's always reading off people who've been arrested. But that's what I did for a few weeks. And a lot of people, like, I'm from Marion. Marion's very small, if any of you guys know. So a lot of the people who were arrested, I knew. So if I'm in the bar or something, they're like, yeah, why did you read my name off like that? So I did that for a while, and then I ended up being the news anchor. So I was doing news every day at 4 o'clock. I would go in, come in after school, go in, record. Sometimes it'd be one take. One day I was sick and I did 9 takes. So like, sometimes I was in and out, but sometimes I wasn't. And it would air every day at 7 o'clock on weekdays. So I did that for some months. And I got demo material, and I, got here in the studio. I wasn't able to stay in the studio as much as I wanted to in the editing room, but because I had kids and jobs. But as much as I could, I was in there making my demo material. And Joe helped me. Everybody helped me. I know you guys know Baptiste. He helped me. Everybody helped me put something together, and I sent it off to everywhere, like everywhere. So my fiance, or my husband now, plays for a football team in South Dakota, and I went there, and I'm like, well, I don't want to live there. It's cold. It's just not me. I'm like, no, I'm not picking that. I'm sending my stuff to Miami. I'm sending my stuff to Atlanta. And I'm like thinking, like, you're not going to get those jobs. You don't have any experience. Not saying I'm not, but I had think realistically. So I'm like, okay, let me try this little small city in South Dakota. And I sent my resume and my demo, and I got a call. So right after we the day before my graduation here, they called me and said, hey, this is KELO Television. Is this LaShe? And I'm like, yes. And they're like, hey, we want to know if you would come down for an interview. And luckily I had graduated, because that's a 14-hour drive. So I went down there the 2 days after graduation, and the next day I went there, and he gave me the position. Like, as a production assistant. So I now am officially a PA. What I'll be doing is I'll be working in the newsroom with the news anchors, running the teleprompter. They give me like my own little computer space where I can edit the stories, where I can write stories. They're giving me the opportunity to write, if I can, get that going. And hopefully not long I'll be on air. I've talked to a few of the other people that have been production assistants starting out, and they've gone up very fast. Some have been PAs and gone to reporters within 5 or 6 months. So it's not looking like it's going to be too bad if I can do the work. So that's kind of been my journey, something I tried to do for 7 long years in college. And then this 12-month program, I got it done, and I got the job before I even graduated from here. So, and then I also got the job at Clear Channel once I think January, my internship ended, and they gave me a part-time position at Clear Channel. So I've been working there too. And my last day there is today. So that's kind of been, like, it's been fast and it's been perfect. And I think that you guys should, like, any opportunity that you have. The one thing that I would have done differently here is got more involved with things, because I definitely feel like I'm not as savvy as I would like to be on some of the equipment. As far as my editing skills, I wish I had spent more time in the editing bay, and also in the TV studio with the TriCaster. I really wish I would have spent more time in there. And then group projects. Like, I got a lot of kind of stuff that I kind of did on my own, but I wish I would have got involved in other classroom projects, not just my class, because there's so many people here with good ideas. And I'm like, you know, it would have been good to get involved with a little bit of what other people were doing, to, you know, kind of get a different spin on things. But that's kind of been my journey here, and I'm kind of excited to see how it's going. I leave Friday, so I will no longer be in Ohio. So it's scary, pray for me, but that's what it is. Any questions? Anybody have any questions or anything they want to know or ask?
Who's your husband?
His name's Mike Tatum.
Where you play? What team?
It's arena football in the IFL.
This is actually a question for Kirk. Do you want me to get shots of them asking questions?
You know what? If you could, that would be helpful as we edit it. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna post some of this up to get people excited about what we have going on here. So, yeah, thank you, Jim.
Yep.
I know you was happy to get the position. Do you got the ideal shift that you want to work, the schedule, anything like that?
Not yet. It's gonna be up and down. I know I start Monday. I'll be there at 10, but I'll be there all day. I'll be working the 6 o'clock news, but it won't always be the 6 o'clock news. Like, maybe Tuesday I may work the 6 a.m. news. So I don't have a set hour or shift. It's gonna always be different, which is gonna be okay, because, you know, it works out for me. Yes, Shelly?
Wait, Shelly.
Besides telling students that, you know, you wish you would have gotten involved with more projects, what other tips could you give them if they're interested in getting in the business? I know it happened for you fairly quickly. What other kinds of things can you share, tips, advice you could share with them?
Volunteering to do things, because that helped me learn how to work the cameras and stuff. Like, when I got here, we had the Fam Jam, and it was what, in June or July? I had just.
This weekend.
Is it? Okay, so like, it was immediately like, I'm like, I don't know how to run a camera. I don't know how to, you know, talk in front of a mic. But they were like, you know what? Get out there. We're just going to wing it. And it was great, because they put you on the spot, and you had to learn how to go and get interviews. You had to learn how to work the camera. So, like, just doing that and having them throw you into stuff really helped me. In your spare time, write. Like, even when you don't have spare time, write. Seriously. Like, they tell you all the time to write. Seriously, write it. Just write any story if you want to make it up. If you see a story and you want to rewrite it. Because if you can't write, like, you're not going to get a job if you want to be on television. And, like, you're not going to get a TV job, because now you don't have people writing your stories. You're writing your stories. You know what I mean? So I'm even like, oh, my God, I got to brush up on my writing skills. So write things that are uncomfortable. If you don't like sports, write sports stories. Get on the score. So if you guys that are in radio, learn how to do that stuff, because it was all cool when I was on the score and I had a bunch of guys with me to chime in. But those days where I was by myself and I didn't write, I was so unprepared, and there was a lot of dead air, because I didn't write enough. And it's like, yeah, I know sports, but you can only talk to yourself for so long. So yes, right. Even radio people, right. Because I mean, freestyling is good, but everybody wants to keep it professional. So yes.
You're so bubbly and fun and outgoing, and I saw that a lot around here.
Thank you.
Can you tell them the importance of being positive and upbeat?
Well, yeah. I think my class started out with, how many, Joe? 12, 15?
Yeah, 12 or 13.
12 students, and we graduated 8. And 3 of them wasn't even originally June Day students. So, I mean, and most of it was their attitude. There were so many men and women in our class with bad attitudes. You know, we would come in and, you know, we're adults here, and they're like, why we got to do this? I'm tired of doing radio. I'm ready to do TV. Or I'm tired of doing TV. I'm ready to do radio. Like, I don't want to be on television. How come I got to do these projects? But, like, and you could tell because they just started dropping like flies. Like, all you need to do is participate so you can learn everything, because I got here wanting to just be a sports broadcaster. And then I turned into like, oh, I want to be a DJ. I'm like, oh, I want to be an MC. I want to be a news anchor. Like, I wanted to be so many things. Like, I still don't even know what I want. I want to do it all, seriously. Like, coming here and learning all this stuff, I want to do it all. And being positive, I mean, who wants to listen to a radio or see a person on TV who's not excited about what they're doing? You know, we're not here to join the army or nothing. Like, we're in broadcasting. We're like the people who have a fun job. We're not a 9-to-5. We will work long hours, but it'll be doing stuff that we like to do. You know, we're not like, we get to host, you know, parties and stuff, and report on news and crimes and stuff. You know, that's the stuff that we like to do. So I don't see why you'd be sad about it. Yes, Joseph.
Can you explain the importance of basically prioritizing and making sacrifices? Because I know that there were some rough days for you, and like you said, you had to do Friday nights, you know, primetime stuff where your social life is being sacrificed, but obviously in the end it paid off. So just kind of what you went through.
Social life wasn't even like the issue. I commuted here. I live an hour away, so that was my biggest problem. Like, the absences will really catch up with you, so really be here on time and really be here, because it's so stupid at the end of the year to be trying to make up all these absences and lab hours. Like, get them done, like, immediately. Get your lab hours done and go overboard. But as far as, like, really putting my priorities first, it was hard. I have 3 kids. I have twin daughters who are 1, and I have a 5-year-old little boy. So taking care of them and trying to work, take care of my house, take care of home, and get here and do school stuff and get lab hours was hard. And Joe tell you, I come here crying some days. I'd call, Burrs was my teacher, I'd call Burrs crying, like, Burrs, I'm quitting. My boyfriend broke up with me, I'm quitting. And they would always encourage me, no, LaShe, this is what you want to do. Come back. Viper and Alvis, I would talk to them like, listen, I don't have the gas money to get here. Like, it was days like that. It was days like that where I'm just like, I can't go anymore because I don't have the money for it. You know, like, this is not, I don't see the results. I don't see anything. I'm doing 2 internships for free. I'm working a part-time job. I'm not making ends meet. Like, I can't go to this school anymore. And the favor of God, I guess, I was able to still make it here. And I did have a lot of absences. I got them caught back up. I didn't have a lot, but I had too many. But I got them caught back up. But it's not easy, especially when you're a mother. It's really not easy coming an hour away every, 3 days a week and trying to get this work done and get your lab hours in on time and still learn and finish projects. Then you get group projects where the group's really not doing much and you kind of got to rely on yourself, and it gets frustrating and sometimes you really want to give up, but the ending result is so great if you put the work in. Like, if you guys are out there in the studios, you know, with your radio stuff, save it, get that demo material, upload it on the YouTube and SoundCloud and all of that stuff. Like, get it done now, because I was terrified. They'll tell you when I'm like, oh my God, my life depends on this demo. I don't think it's gonna be good enough. I'm like, I shouldn't have waited this long to get it done. I waited to the last minute, and luckily someone saw me. Someone saw me. So, and then put your name out there. You guys get your Google accounts. What is it called? Your WordPress pages. Make sure you guys are blogging. Like, I didn't start doing that until the last minute either. And it helps. Like, I Googled my name, and like your blogs and your WordPress pages will start popping up, and the people who you're associated with from OCB and other broadcasting, like people, they'll start coming at you. And it will really, you'll be a brand. You'll start branding yourself pretty much. So, I mean, just do all of that, and just know that it's not that long. It's a year. Get it done. And, I mean, it's like, what else would you be doing? Right? Oh, one thing. Let me just put this out there. This is not a good story. This is a bad story on my part, but I want to tell you because I'm real and I want to be real life with you guys. When my producer called me yesterday, we did a background check and a drug test, and something came back on my background check, and I didn't think of it. I'm like, this is 14 hours away, all the way in South Dakota. It's like 1,000 miles from here. And I got into some trouble September of last year. Shortly after I got here, I got in a fight at a bar, and it wasn't really my fault. My friend was fighting, and I jumped in trying to help her, and I got in trouble for it. And I got a disorderly conduct. Now, they didn't take me to jail because I pleaded and pleaded like, I'm sorry, I'll never do it again, like, you know, because that's just not me. It's not my personality. Alcohol was involved, and that's what happens when you drink. You act stupid. So it was a very immature decision that I made. And he called me and asked me about it. And I was scared because I'm like, oh my God, this just cost me my job. Like, I packed, I made arrangements to move all the way to South Dakota, and now I'm not gonna have a job because I just got this disorderly conduct last year that I never thought he would find out about, because I didn't even think about it. And he asked me to explain what happened, and I told him the truth. I explained what happened, and he said to me, do you know that you can never let anything like this happen again? I'm like, yes, sir. And he told me, you are in television. I cannot have anybody like that at my TV station. I don't need any bad reputations. I don't need any bad reports. You have to be squeaky clean from here on out. And I felt bad because I'm like, oh my God, I'm not a bad person, you know? But that's what it is. Your Facebooks, your Twitters, clean them up. Because if they get on that stuff, you know, we're in broadcasting, media is important to us. Like, clean them up. If you got all of this stuff on there and drinking in cups and stuff, take it off, because I'm telling you, like, I did not think he was going to come at me that way, but he did. So, yeah, that's my bad part of my story, but he definitely called me out on it. So if you guys are cutting up at the bars, clean it up.
And I have something to kind of go along with that. I know a girl, you were lucky. She applied at this company called the Onion Network. You heard of that? Anyone heard of Onion Network? Mm-hmm. Okay. She was a reporter here in this market. She worked at a couple stations, and she had been away for a while, came back, applied at a TV station here in town, the #1 station, and they did a background check, and found out that she did some stuff, real short stint. And when I say short stint at the Onion Network. Well, that particular company doesn't have a great reputation. They rescinded her offer. So she didn't get the job because she did some things with the Onion Network. So what LaShe is telling you is so true. You always want to make sure you have a squeaky clean background, because you represent that station, whether it's television, radio company, you're the face. You represent them, so they don't want anything bad to come out against that particular station.
Because they'll call you out. They will call you out.
They'll fire you.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind, all of you.
Tell them on my best behavior now. Yep.
I guess my question is, well, the onion thing. You know, it wasn't a bar fight. It wasn't, you know, her doing drugs or anything. It was work she did for an actual company. How can work you do for an actual company affect you getting on with another company?
Because that company, I don't know a whole lot about the Onion Network, but it really isn't taken very seriously. It's kind of more of a joke network.
Yeah,
How
it
would you
is.
describe it, Mike?
Sort of a joke network.
Kind of a joke
like,
network.
Comedic.
Yeah, comedic, you know.
Comedic,
They make up stories.
Yeah, yeah, not really credible. You know, if you're working in whether television or radio and you're working for a credible station, you don't want to come from someplace like that because that's going to question the credibility of
you.
It's like working for the National Enquirer.
Right.
And you want to get a job in newspapers.
Yeah,
Same
you
sort of
know,
thing.
that's kind of what it has to do with, how it connects.
Right. I agree. Any more questions or comments? Yep.
I know that you have this really good job now, but do you feel that OCB is giving you all the skills that you needed to get that job? Like, do you feel like you ran into any big roadblocks, anything that you were like, wow, I was just totally unprepared for that?
Not for me, because I was involved. I had internships, so I was able to get a lot of hands-on outside of school. I was intern at a TV station that didn't have a lot of equipment, and then I also interned at the radio, so, you know, I'm a board operator. I can run the boards. If you can run a board, you can run them all. So not for me, not the TriCaster, I will say, but that's a lot of my fault for not being more involved in the projects that we're giving. So I think if you utilize everything that OCB gives you, they can't babysit you every day. Right. You know, they can't like, okay, listen, you gotta be willing to learn and you gotta get what you wanna get out of it. So I think if you go after it, you'll get what you need from OCB.
I got a question.
Yes.
You got your internship, seems like pretty early into your career here at OCB. Let the students know how important that is to not wait till the last second to get that internship so they can get their career path started.
Well, it's very important because like a lot of students aren't going to get jobs immediately after. But those of us who have these internships, they're allowed to keep you as an intern until you graduate. But me, I'm like, you know, I'm hurting for money. I'm in here, I'm running these boards for you. I need, you know, if it's just minimum wage, I need paid, which you're not going to make a lot as a board operator. I'm just going to let you know that now. And he was like, okay, at the first of the year, we'll see what we can do. But you need to get your interns now because that way you're already knowing your job when you graduate. Then they'll be like, okay, we can hire you. If you wait till the last minute you're graduated to get an internship, you're still going to be broke. Like, because they really don't have to pay you if you're an intern. You know, so it's like, get your interns now while you're early on. That way, by the time you're graduated, you'll have a job in the industry. Or if you don't have a job there, you're networking within that company to meet other people to get other jobs other places. You know, I talk to people all the time. I'm like, oh, you know what? I don't like that job, but that might be a good job for this person. I know she's looking into doing that. So when people come through here, meet them, get their emails, get their phone numbers if they let you. Get on LinkedIn. That's a great tool to get on. But yeah, get your internships, and because, I mean, ultimately we all want to make money. We all want to get a job. So, and you need internships in broadcasting because everybody can't run a camera. You can't. It's not like you're on an assembly line or at McDonald's or something where you somebody coaches you for a while. You know, it takes time and practice to do it right. Now we can sit and hold it, but to get a perfect shot or to do perfect lighting and a great editing, you know, job, it takes practice. So internships are good for that. Any more questions? Yep.
Can you tell us about some of the professional broadcasters perhaps that you have seen over the years who have been an inspiration for you?
Oh my God. We had Bill Kelly come here, and I was such in shock because, you know, you see Bill Kelly all the time on TV, but he's such a bubbly, humble person, and he came here to OCB. Now, I don't know how much money he makes, but he looks like he's, you know, nice, you know, look guy or whatever. And so I just was honored that he came here. Then we also had, what was her name? Cheryl, what was her name? The older lady, she had retired. Carol, yes. She came here. And that was another, I'm like, wow, these people really come down and they step off their pedestal and they come down and tell us how they made it in the industry. And I mean, it's real life. And like the one thing that I picked up that I find myself doing right now is going to those smaller markets. Like me being in Marion is a small little town in Ohio. Helped me because I was able to get an intern at a TV and a radio station and I got experience, and that's all people want is a little bit of experience. If you go to like where I'm going, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, I don't know how many people would want to go there. Like I said, I was applying to jobs in Miami, Florida, Atlanta, Georgia, California, you know, places I'm not going to get a job at. But places like South Dakota, where it's a small place and they're not a huge broadcasting like market is where I'm looking for. They're not a huge market in broadcasting. Those are the places you want to start because you'll have a leading position instead of going and getting somebody's coffee at Channel 10, you know? So that's why I'm like, this is exciting. And when they tell you, like those people who came in, they're like, well, I started off all the way in Wisconsin as a little board operator, and like they're telling the truth. And I mean, I wasn't trying to hear it, but it's what it is. I'm telling you, I've applied everywhere. And I mean, I think I'm okay, but I'm not good enough. So South Dakota it is. So everybody that comes in here, I mean, meet them, exchange numbers, get their information. Oh, Jason Frazier even. Jason Frazier's, you know, I still contact him. He's doing good. He was a great help, you know, because he was a person that was taking steps to get to where he wanted to go. He wasn't, you know, where he wanted to be yet. But he gave us his insight when he was here working for Channel 10 as a reporter, showed us his material and what he did. But I got a lot of help from him too. So everybody that comes in here, I mean, take notes. Thank you guys for letting me speak.